dad jokes during the ball games now.
Okay. All right, we ready? Thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys being here and giving us a little coverage. We're fresh off the OVC Media Day, so we're kind of in the media mode a little bit, but excited to have Mallory and Allie here, two of my favorite kids from Iowa, and just excited about the year. I think joining the new conference is going to give us a real fresh start. I think for the entire athletic department, you're already seeing it with volleyball a little bit, getting some momentum, and excited about our team. We've got a great combination of, I think, some really talented young kids, and I think we've got a really good group of experienced kids that are in their fourth, fifth, sixth, and maybe even seventh years. And so they're helping to bring the young kids along, and I'm excited about our depth and how hard we're going to play this year. And I think a big key is going to be our unselfishness and how we share the ball and have really good shot selection. And so I'm excited. We've got a nice schedule. Excited to go up to Wisconsin, get that started off with some of the Wisconsin kids we've always had on the roster, and see what we can do.
To the players, what's it gonna be like in the new league? See new places and take new trips, I guess.
We're really excited about it. I think just new opportunities. I mean, not only will it be different for us each game, like we don't know how these teams play, but they don't know how we play.
Right.
So I think that's going to be kind of exciting every night.
Yeah, kind of what Mal said. Being in the Summit League, it was more kind of like you knew where everyone kind of stood at the beginning, and then as season went on, you kind of knew like where teams were standing. But in the OVC, it's completely new this year for us, and I think it gives us a little bit more like motivation to really show teams what we can do this year. So.
Coach, what have you been able to glean so far from the other teams as you try to learn about them? What's the basis of the league? What kind of style do they play?
Yeah, I mean, we're fairly familiar, at least with the teams closer. Eastern, the St. Louis team, SEMO, we've played most years. But I think what you get is a really diverse playing style. And I think that's one thing in the Summit. You did have a little bit of varying styles, but you felt like especially the good teams all kind of played the same way. And in the OVC, you have teams like Little Rock who just guard the heck out of you. They win their games in the 40s. Then you have Tennessee Tech, who's a little more offensive-minded, plays a little more of an open style like us. So I just think that diversity of playing style will be a really fun challenge from a coaching perspective. And then I think also our depth, the type of players and lineups we can throw out there will help as we kind of adjust to different styles. But I think the main takeaway from the league is the parity. I mean, the preseason poll came out and we were 10th out of 11th, and on paper I can see how that happened. But as I went to pick the teams, I mean, I might as well just been throwing darts at a dartboard because I really had no idea who was going to finish second, who was going to finish ninth.
Allie, how much does your role change this year, and how much did you take away from last year?
Yeah, well, last year, so Elizabeth Lutz was obviously our starting point guard and did an amazing job, and she was a really good mentor to me. Like, she always embraced me with open arms and stuff, especially right when I got here, and has taught me a lot. So this year, I'm really taking what she taught me, what the coaches have taught me, other teammates, and I've really grown, I think, this past year, and taking more of a leadership role, I would say, being more vocal on the court and off the court, just kind of running the offense a little bit more, facilitating, and I think that's going to be more my role this year.
JD, what happens in your household when you play Lindenwood? And obviously it's Amy Egan with your mother-in-law and with your wife. Who do they root for?
Yeah, they're rooting for the Leathernecks, I can tell you that. Definitely my wife. I'm not sure if my mother-in-law is good. She is South Shelby through and through. So being a former coach there and knowing the Egan family so well. So it was fun catching up with Amy. I've known her forever. I respect her. I was just talking about how good of a coach she was. She did such a good job at Truman. I think you see her experience at Drury, and everyone wins at Drury, but she did a really good job at Truman State in her time at Quincy. So it'll be fun having her up here. I'm guessing we'll have a big crowd coming over from old Shelvina Mound.
Let's talk a little bit about, obviously, Northeast Missouri, since we're on that tip. Kennedy Flanagan, where does she sit right now? Obviously made some nice strides last year.
Yeah, and she's one of those kids I talked about that's just super experienced, and she does every single little thing right. Probably one of our best players as far as her offensive movement is concerned. Has really defended well this year. I think in our practice stats, she's leading the team in block shots and is starting to use her length a little bit better. Playing hard, setting a good example of always being in a good posture. So she's just one of those kids I think that, when she focuses on all those little things that she does well, could really help us, and again, be someone that helps those young kids come along.
Through the preferred walk-on avenue, you added a little local flavor from right in back town here. How's Miss Holthouse fit in to this point?
Yeah, Ainsley's been awesome. You know, everyone on the team just loves her. She's done probably an even better job than I expected. I had pretty high expectations for her to be able to come in and hold her own at practice. You know, she's got good speed. She's playing simply and kind of understanding her role, which is huge. She's a good shooter. And the other day we had a long open gym game, and she was finally over it and daggered 2 threes to end the game. So kind of take it after Mal here a little bit, but you know, just such a great kid. We're excited to have her.
Mallory, what's the dynamic of this team with so many new faces, and what is the dynamic of this team like right now?
Well, I really like the blend we have. I think we have young kids that are excited and are just, they run, they gun, and I think then we have the mix of, we've got a lot of returners. So like, we have to that's been kind of the thing I've tried to take on myself a little bit, is like, we got to blend this group together. Like, how do those things fit together? And I think as of recently, they really started to. And I think it's a team that it's going to be fun to watch. I think we move the ball a lot better than maybe we have in the past. And I think we play really hard. Like, defensively, I think we just get after it, which is really nice.
What are some of the things you've done to kind of do the team bonding and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, we spend a ton of time together. I think it was just a matter of bridging, like, getting freshmen out of their shell. You know, that's always kind of a battle,
Sure.
but they've really come a long way, and they've done a great job fitting in with our group.
About the schedule this year, Coach, you're playing doubleheaders now, and the men's and women's teams will always be in the same location. A little bit different than the way the Summit did things. Do you like it, or
Yeah,
what do you think about it?
I'm super excited about it. I mean, I think selfishly, I love watching our men play and rooting for them and being one of their fans. And that was something I really missed out on last year. And I think our team felt that way, you know, especially when they had those couple weeks where they really got hot and the momentum was going, and we kind of wanted to be a part of that. And sometimes we can draw off that, and I think they can draw off us when we're having success. And I think from a fan perspective, especially, I'm excited about the doubleheaders. You know, you don't have a game at home every single weekend, so you kind of get some time off. But then when you do have a game, you have an opportunity to see 2 games, or, you know, maybe fans show up a half early to watch the second half of our game. You know, maybe they stay after our game to watch the first half of the men's, and we can kind of draw off each other. So I'm really excited about that. I'm a fan of college basketball, men and women, so I'm excited to watch them play, and I think our players are too.
Players feel the same?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's just a great thing when your athletes can support each other, and I think that's something we do naturally here at Western, but now it's going to be even easier for us to do that.
And from, like he said, like a fan standpoint, I think there will be a lot of faces in the crowd just because they do want to see men's and women both play. And I don't know, I'm really excited for this year because of that, and I think both teams are going to excel. So,
Mallory, what did you work on in the off season? What were some of the things that you thought you needed to do heading into the season?
I think a big part of expanding my role was just like shot selection, like just making the right choice for our team. I think defensively, just being in the right spot and kind of being, in a way, a leader of like, this is how we're going to do things. We got to work hard. Even, you know, I've never been a huge like defensive person, but I think like if you set the example of like, we just got to do our best at all times. And I think that's been really good. And rebounding.
How have you adjusted to that defensive, as you said?
Yeah, I think just being in the right spot. I think once you get older, I think you just get smarter. So I think that can make up for some things, like maybe we lack a little quickness, or me personally. But I think just being in the right spot and just like being able to anticipate has helped me a lot.
Coach, what have you seen of these two and what they've been able to do and where their games have grown?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll start with Mallory, and she's 100% right. I mean, she's always had the offensive ability to be, you know, a key role in our team, and I think she's very slowly gotten better and better defensively. And I think part of that is physically. I mean, in the weight room with our strength and conditioning program, I mean, she is much quicker now than when she came in as a freshman and sophomore. And then I think part of it is mentally, being in the right spot all the time, and as the game slows down, she's done a great job boxing out and rebounding. So, and I honestly, I think she's improved offensively, which, you know, I used to think of her just as a shooter that could get to the rim a little bit, but she's mixing a lot more mid-range game. You know, she's got good shot fakes and step throughs. And so when we look for, one of the key things we need is points around the basket, you know, and you normally think of post players or someone that can, you know, really get to the rim. But Mallory is someone that can get into the integral part of the paint and make, you know, nice athletic plays. So I'm excited about that, and her leadership's grown. And then Allie is just amazing, like freshman to sophomore year. we had a recruit on campus, and the mom asked if Allie was a senior. And I thought that was a great compliment. But she really is playing. She's probably the main kid that's kind of that in between of the group, of kind of that youngster that's ready to take on the world. And like Mallory said, just run circles around everyone. But Allie has the experience from last year. And I think also, really for both these kids, is not feeling like they have to prove themselves all the time. And Allie's in a spot now where she doesn't feel like she has to go out and prove herself. And sometimes when you do that, you start trying to do things that maybe aren't your strength or don't come naturally to you. And right now, Allie and Mallory are just kind of playing their game. And I think that's going to really help both of them.
When you hear that somebody thought you were a senior, what does that make you think?
Yeah. No, I thought it was a huge compliment. Like when he told me that, I was head over heels about it, just because it is nice from someone who doesn't see the team every day to come in and be like, oh, is that an upperclassman? Like, I think my leadership skills have really grown. And I think that proved it. And it made me so happy hearing that.
Hey, Coach, what type of identity are you looking to build as a team heading into the first year in the OVC?
Yeah, I mean, I think we really want to get back to being a team that plays with really good pace. And you have to trust your players a lot to play with that pace, because just because you're playing fast doesn't mean you're checking up bad shots. And I think sometimes we would get into that cycle a little bit last year. So I want to be a team that's playing with great pace, but picking other teams apart, attacking, kicking, making the extra pass. And then just a team that plays really hard. And I think sometimes we've taken steps to that, but maybe haven't had the consistency that this team can have, where anyone that steps, their foot on the floor, once you cross that end line, you're on the floor. Like, you're just absolutely getting after it the whole time. And I actually can see that out of our team, especially lately in practice. And so I think we could really embrace that. And, I told them at the beginning of the year, we have the potential to maybe be the best intangible team in the country. And I think in practice, we've done a pretty good job of that. We've gone up and down a little bit, but really we're locked in the last week or two of being that team, and that can kind of be our identity.
How deep can this team be?
Probably deeper than there's enough minutes to be had, honestly. I mean, we really have, it's actually the thing that keeps me up at night is, I think we've got, 3 or 4 kids that are kind of going to be solid in that starting lineup. But then that next, like, 4 or 5 spots of kids that have big roles, there's probably 8 or 9 kids that could all fill that spot. And so, I think that's a good problem to have, but it's going to be tough on the players, because like I talked about them in the past, if you feel like you have to go prove yourself, you get in the game and feel like I've got to go hit 2 shots so I can get back in the game. That's a bad way to play. And so they're going to really have to be mature about that mentality. And depth, I don't think will be an issue. It's just, is that depth good enough? We haven't really split up a lot first team, second team, but sometimes we've kind of put some of our, players that we think will play a lot together, and often the other team has won or competed really well. So I think that can be a good problem to have, but it can also be an issue.
You mentioned recruiting, JD, and I know you can't talk specifics, but it's very rare in your business where the entire world changes with the OVC thing. How's that played with recruits, and how's the sales pitch changed?
Yeah, I think the conference changes helped us just from a competitive standpoint and the parity of the league. I mean, again, you look at the OVC, and the 3 seed has won the conference tournament. I think even lower. Different teams have won it, and I think that's really exciting in recruiting. I mean, let's be honest, when we were recruiting in the past, it was like, can we knock off the South Dakota schools? That was always the question. And we had, and it was really fun, but it was still rare. And so I think there's just a little bit more openness from that perspective. And then really the big thing that's changed it is the transfer portal and that mentality. And we are selling hard that we are trying not to be that team that's just constantly recruiting over the young kids we bring in. We've got a really good group of freshmen and sophomores. And if we brought in 4 or 5 fifth-year kids, they're going to have a hard time competing with them, and then they're not going to get that experience they need to build down the road. So I think that's going to be kind of our angle, and we've have a really good class committed. Honestly, I think it's probably the best back-to-back-to-back recruiting class we've ever had. So it's a matter of, keeping them around will be a big part of it with the transfer portal, and them kind of turning into these experienced players down the road in a couple of years.
From a player standpoint, how important is that to, he wants to have that veteran base. How important is it to not have the constant turnover and change and all that?
Yeah, I think as somebody who's been here 4 years, we take a lot of pride in that. Like, that's something that we want to kind of embody this year and make our identity. Like, we are just a group of kids that love Western. We love playing at Western, and we've been here the whole time. And I think that's why it's exciting going to a new conference with that group that can really make some noise, hopefully.
Yeah, I think Mal hit it right on top of the head. It first off, it shows a lot from our coaches' standpoint. From we didn't have the best season last year, and that doesn't mean we go out and get girls from like different schools just because they had that college experience. And I think it shows a lot from them wanting our younger classmen to be able to improve because, like you said, if you bring in a lot of transfers, that might not be the case. And I think we are a really strong group, and we don't have a lot of transfers that came in, so that just shows, I think, what we can do with the team we have now.
Well, you've been here a while too. I mean, this community gravitates to that identity. You've noticed that, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. I love being here because we just have so much support in the community, and it just comes from all angles, like all ages. We have kids who know us, we have older people that know us, and that's been something that I just love about Western, and that's something that keeps you at a place and makes you never even think about leaving.
All right. Appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
girls.
Yes.
Good luck.
Of course.
Okay.
That's perfect for
Everything
us.
good?
Hey, don't be offended, Jed. I gotta tap out in about 15 minutes.
Please tell me you're joking. I'm offended. No, you're good. You were here last week. Can somebody ask me about the Okay. Thank you for everyone being here for our media day at Western Illinois. We are obviously excited for the 23-24 season. I got Josiah West with me, returner from last year, fellow Southeastern Community College grad, and pretty dynamic player that's had a really good start for us. We're looking forward to the season with the OBC. It's a new league. There's a lot of unknowns. We don't know a lot. What we do know is we're excited. We're ready. The team we come with a lot of depth. I know everybody says this, the practices from the summer have been great. Our practices from the summer and the fall have been great. The intensity's good. The competitiveness is really good. And we're ready to play somebody. We're ready to play somebody else. And so we look forward to the season. And we got a couple close scrimmages coming up. And it's an exciting time for men's basketball at Western Illinois.
How much has this team grown summer to now with the new faces and that sort of thing?
It's a different dynamic, and Josiah and I are used to it in the sense of coming from junior college. You see it over there in Burlington. You know how it goes in Ottumwa. You know how it goes in Moberly. And every year you're taking a new group and you're putting them together, and you got to build a team dynamic right away. And part of that starts with getting guys that are very similar. You want winners, and we have a collective group of guys that have won where they've been, whether high school or in college. You want competitors. You want guys that are going to compete. And for us, we wanted depth. I want 1 through 10 to be able to start. I want 1 through 10 to be able to come in at any point. We don't drop off. And that's what it's been. The growth has been good. They come together, and I credit a lot to the upperclassmen, the returners like Josiah, Q, KJ, JJ, Braden. Those guys have done a great job of talking about how we play, the system, how things we want done. And there's a lot of things that are different from last year, but there's still some things that are the same. Well, we want to play inside out. Defensively, we want to keep people in front and contest, and we want to be able to rebound and control the glass. And it's been going really well.
Josiah, with the new players, how much did you go to them and say, this is what we do, this is how we do things? I mean, how much of a leadership role did you take in that?
It wasn't a big role for me because I knew what I came back to do. I know the role that I came back to fill. It was just the togetherness that we already had coming from the summertime and being able to talk to each other and build upon what we already had. So that was just a big thing on just building on what we already had in the summertime.
Your role is going to change. Are you going to play outside a little bit more? I mean, if you like that, and how is that kind of working for you right now?
Honestly, I always played bigger than what I was, only because I just always been a dog. I play any position on the court. But I always wanted to expand my game to the wing, and definitely you're gonna see me on the wing this year. So
Yes, you
get
are.
ready.
Is the shot there? I mean, is it still there?
I don't do too much talking. We'll see.
Josiah does a great job of, there's a lot of people that talk and they don't lead. There's a lot of people that say the right things but don't do the right things. Josiah is one of those people that talks less and does a lot more. And I think those are the kind of people you want around you in life. Those are the kind of people you want in your family. It's the kind of people you want to work at your business. It's the kind of people you want to be around. And that's people that are productive and get things done and are really efficient and are a business-like, a professional approach. We have a bunch of older guys. And so we can be, I said the very first day I'm going to coach you guys like a professional team. The best players are going to be on the floor. The best players are going to play. And we're going to put you in the best position to help us win, because ultimately that's what we're here to do, is win games. And he's bought into that. It's easy because he's a winner. He's tough. Everything he said is exactly who he is.
Josiah, you had that run of games last year, that 2 weeks where you were the buzz of everything and the crowd was alive. And just how addictive was that? How much do you want to get that energy back into this building this year based on that was something kind of new and neat to this building last year?
I want to bring that every game now. That was just a big transition for me. That's what we talk about every day. That's what you get on me about every day. Bring it every day. Like, a lot of times last year, I didn't bring it every day, every game. It was just every here and there. This year, I'm trying to bring it every game, and you see that a lot more, And I feel like my energy feeds off the whole team. Like, what I bring to the game, it feeds off the whole team. So when I get going, I know everybody. It brings everybody and get everybody involved and have the energy high.
Jed, you're from here. You know the energy of this place when basketball is good. It changes everything for the community beyond Macomb.
Right.
You had to sense that last year when people were excited and coming up to you in the streets going, hey, this is what we wanted.
You and I have talked about it off the air a lot, and that is this area loves basketball. We all know it, whether it's in Southeast Iowa or Northeast Missouri, Central Illinois. Quincy is king of basketball in when it comes to high school basketball. And so people will come. We win, people will come. They'll be here. And they want to support a winner, but they also want to support a group of guys that are hardworking, that's tough, because that's the area. And we are very, very, we're very blue collar in our approach and what we do. And it can be electric in here because it's loud. It gets really loud. And we want to get our students here first, and then we want the community, and we want the surrounding communities. I want all of Farmington, Iowa over here cheering for us here in a few months. So, and Farmington, Illinois, everywhere else. We want everybody in here. So you're right. It can be electric, and that's how we want it.
I don't want to make it so rudimentary, but Monday is kind of big for you because that's kind of, and people love dunks, and obviously that's a part of it, and you guys are great at that. You play an infectious style. How big is whetting the appetite on Monday a thing for you?
Monday's big more for the people outside of us because we know internally what we're doing. For us, it's competitive games. It's coming up. Monday will be good to get some people in the community in here. Just guys, he's got some miles on his tires, so I don't know how many dunks he'll be doing on Monday. But we have a lot of other athletic guys too that you want to see. Josiah had a dunk yesterday that we should put on somewhere. But it was over cue, literally over cue. So I don't want to put it out there just for cue's sake. Yeah, but the athleticism, it's electric. People want to see a fun style of basketball. They don't want to come in here and see us win 55, 54. Neither do I. I'm an offensive guy. I want to see points. I want to see us run up and down. But we got to guard. We got to get stops, and all that comes with it. And Monday is the day that gets going. But for us, some of these close scrimmages, we get a chance to get going, and then we're at UTSA, and we're going to hit the ground running.
Decide, do you have a special dunk you're going to pull out on Monday?
I'll wait till Monday for y'all to see.
Nobody's telling their dunks right now. They're all they're really secretive of it. Everybody knows what Tay Knox's dunk's going to be because he does the same dunk all the time. But everybody else, we have no idea.
I think it's no secret there's an awful lot of minutes that are available to these new guys and to the returning guys, particularly from the 2 guard spots last year who played heavy minutes. How have the new guys fit in, and how have the experienced guys taken over those minutes?
Well, Josiah played a lot of minutes for us last year, as you well know, and Q did too. And it's just there's a lot of unknowns with us because there's a lot of new guys. Ryan Myers coming from Indian Hills was at Iona, great player, has done a great job. James Dent from John A. Logan won a national championship at John A. Logan's done a great job. Shea Davis has done a great job. And then you got KJ Lee, JJ Calcutt. There's just so much depth at the guard, which we lacked last year. And that's why you talk about guys playing a lot of minutes. I think we were 350th in bench usage minutes last year. We were one of the lowest usage teams in the country, and that's not what I want to do. I want us to be deep, and I want our guards, because I want us to build pressure. I want us to play faster. Josiah's got to be in great shape because he's not going to get the luxury of coming out of games. But for the most part, we're going to use our depth, and I think I think a lot of people on the outside look at what we lost. I look at what we gained and how we were able to replace that. And I think we'll be in a better position, especially late in the year. The last couple of years, you guys watched us. We run out of gas down the stretch, and we need that depth for later in the year.
And beyond the roster, talk about the coaching staff a little bit. Some of it is a seamless transition, plus there's some new guys coming in. So your coaching staff too.
Yeah, they're guys I've known in the past and had a lifelong relationship with us. Kyle, Cam, and Chris stayed with us, which was great for transition. Colton Sandage played here. He's one of our GAs. Colton was a really good player for us a couple years ago. And I think that speaks volumes about not only him but us, for him to want to come back and work here after transferring to Illinois State. But then we've added Chris Hill. Chris Hill worked with me at Milwaukee. He was a point guard on the Sweet 16 teams with Bruce Pearl at UWM, and then was a point guard for us that beat Oklahoma and lost to eventual national champ Florida when we were at Milwaukee. Chris grew up in Chicago, has a great energy, just a great presence with the guys. I know he's all over Josiah every day, and he's probably the worst official, would you say, in the country right now? He likes to officiate, and since we're in Illinois, he's the Ed Hightower of our officiating crew. But and then John Clancy. John is somebody I've had a lifelong relationship. He's from Triton. Has been uber successful at a Final Four team a couple years ago. He coached Q. He coached JJ. He's coached against all these guys. So there's a lot of familiarity. And hats off to those guys for bringing in the team we had. That it wasn't Josiah and I recruiting everybody. It was those guys getting out on the road and getting people in here. But when they get in there, they like the guys, because in the end, we recruit off relationships. We're not trying to. The facilities is great. We love our facilities. But if you're going to buy with your eyes, you're probably going to go somewhere else. And it's about relationships and it's about people. And I tip the hat to not only our staff, but the returning players did a great job of recruiting a really good team. So we could not just, like I told Chris a while back, we're not trying to build something. We're trying to finish something. It's already built. We need to finish what we started.
So when we talk about the new league, what do you see out of the players in this league, and what do you see out of just what have you seen out of what do you know about this league?
As far as the league itself, I really don't. I know Morehead State has been really good the last 3 years, and I only know this because I heard it at Media Day. They've won 20 games the last 3 years. Was in the NIT last year. They beat Clemson. They were in the NCAA tournament before that. SIUE down the road is picked second in the league, so they got a good ball club. Brian Brony does a really nice job there. Marty is a heck of a coach at Eastern Illinois and always has. But Kyle Gerdeman, I coached against that, and is a good friend of mine at Lindenwood. Brad Korn over at SEMO, got them in the tournament. Ryan Ritter. There's just Coach Penny Collins at Tennessee State, great guy. As far as the players go, I don't know the players, but I tell you, they got to be really, really good. Like this, Josiah West would have been a first-team All-League guy in the Summit, like for sure. I've had multiple coaches from the Summit call me and say, "Wow, that league must be really good," and the league must be really good. There must be a lot of really good players. If this guy can't be on should be on a first-team All-League preseason team, and he's not. So we're excited to see him because there must be some really dynamic players in the league, and I can't wait to see him play.
I asked Coach Green the same thing, double headers this year instead of women in one location and men in the other. As a player, do you like the fact that you're able to see the women play, that they'll be able to see you play, that is there more community that way?
Yes, it's more like, because we all know each other, we all in class together. It's more camaraderie, I would say. But me, it don't affect how I play. It's the same thing. I come into every game the same way. I like it.
It's funny you say that because we'd always keep track of the women's team. We're on the road, and because we are intertwined. It's a small school. We see each other every day, and we pull for them as hard as we pull for ourselves. And I like it a lot. I think it's great that we play the doubleheaders together. That way we can watch them instead of trying to follow a score and see what's going on. So I think it's good for the league. I think it's good for the community. It's good for our guys. I like it. I think it's great.
Scrimmage. Who's going to win a scrimmage between the coaching staff and the players right now?
Oh, for sure, the players. I mean, unless
hey,
now if Chris Hill is player official, oh, we're winning.
Yeah,
because you'll be fouled out in 2 seconds. Yeah, you'll be fouled out in 2 seconds.
What's the biggest challenge for you going into your first year as a head coach and moving conferences? What's been the biggest thing for you?
The biggest challenge for me personally is juggling times. Is between I'm still caught up in recruiter, and I still want to keep recruiting. I still want to be out, and I still want to be on the road. But my number one priority is the guys that are here, and so I never want to miss practice. I want to be around. So organizing my time. The other thing is I've been a head coach before, and I know you'll say, well, it's in junior college, but it's still the same. We're still showing up. We're still executing and running a system. The system's different, but it's the biggest thing for me is the unknowns of the league. I just know so little about the OVC. You could ask me any question about the Summit, who's in it, style of play, where to eat in Fargo or not in Vermilion. But I can give you good, thorough answers on everybody in the Summit. I know nothing about the OVC, but on the other side of that, that's the newness and the exciting part of they know nothing about us either. And a lot of it, my approach has been, I want the OVC to prepare for us by the time January hits, not us preparing for the OVC. And so we're going to play our style, and they're going to have to adjust. But I'm curious to see. Like I said, I'm curious to see the players in the league, and I'm excited to go to some new towns and see some new places, try some new places to eat, and see what the OVC is all about.
When did it settle in that you were head coach? When did it kind of resonate with you?
I'll tell you when it resonated is when, because my family's still in Wisconsin. My wife's the volleyball coach at UW Whitewater. And I talked to Paul, and I was driving back down here. It was late. It was a Sunday night. I was back home on a Saturday and headed home on a Sunday, and it was late. And it's about 11 o'clock, and I called my wife, and I said, hey, is this the right thing to do? Because you guys are up here, and I had an opportunity to go back up there. And am I doing the right thing for the family and us? And she was like, absolutely. I can't say exactly what she said because there's a little bit of swear tied in there. If you know my wife, she doesn't really swear. But basically, it's like, get down there and do your thing. And that was about the moment, like, okay. I mean, once my family like was all in, I knew it was the right thing, and I've been all in since the beginning. Did I expect it? No way. Did I expect it to happen the way it did in the process of, I appreciate Rob, in my time with him, but I didn't expect it the way it worked out. But that's how life goes. There's a lot of things that just kind of sneak up on you. You don't expect it. If it worked out as planned, we probably all wouldn't be sitting here. So,
Josiah, how did the veteran players feel when you got the news?
Me personally, this guy, he recruited me. So our relationship is beyond basketball. It's like he was one of the guys that showed up to a lot of my games in junior college, like made sure he was there, had that connection with me, called my mom, called my people. He made sure I was good. So it was beyond basketball with me. It was a no-brainer for me to come back. So it was like, I was relieved when he got the job, honestly.
And I wasn't staying if Josiah wasn't. Everybody doesn't know this. It's a package deal.
Yeah. And when I got the call, we talked about it before he made it public to everybody. But we got like a personal relationship where he wanted the best for me. So that's why it made my decision even easier to come back and stay.
And he's right. Like Josiah, I mean, you look down the list of guys. We're from different places. I'm from Farmington, Iowa. He's from New Jersey. We've walked the same path. Once you've been in junior college, you know this. You cover a lot of it's sometimes it looks like it's not the easiest path, but it's a path you're proud of, and we stick together in the end. And it's a loyalty, it's a friendship, and we'll talk forever. We will have a lifelong relationship, just like all the former guys. Like when I got the job, my phone, you know how it is. The phone's going crazy. People are texting you, and it was guys that were overseas, guys that you just. It's overused, but I think it's very true with us, and it is a family. I'm around these guys more than I'm around my own kids, and most coaches that's the case. You get your kids going on the right track from kindergarten to first, second, third grade, and then they fly on their own, it seems like, and then you're raising 14 other guys, but they're helping raise you, especially when you get to the age of Josiah and the maturity of Josiah and Q and some of the guys last year. Vuk was a great example of that. I coached at Highland. During a game, you seeing us talk. It's not me complaining to him. It's not him complaining to me. He's seeing something that I may not see. I see something that he may not see. But that's all part of being in a family and trusting each other I think that's what makes us good. During practice today, he was upset about a layup or something that he missed. I was thrilled by the cut he made. Sometimes he sees the negative, I see the positive. Sometimes he sees the positive, I see the negative, and I think that's important for any relationship. So I wish my wife thought that way. Life would be a lot easier now.
Anything else?
Any other question? Good looking hat you got back there. Well, in closing, I'll say thank you. The one thing I want to make sure that I articulate to all you guys, we appreciate the support. And I know I've said it to you 1,000 times. I haven't said it to you guys. We appreciate the support, because without you guys, people don't know what's going on in Western. They have no idea. And we're not in a place where everyone's talking, but you guys do a great job of getting our message out there, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it all year. And I want this, and I want you guys all to know this. Anytime, any place, we're always available for stuff, for interviews, for come to practice, come to a locker room. My stuff is open. There's nothing in there. Everything I say is public, and probably at some point will get me in trouble, but that doesn't matter. And that is, I care about you guys too, and I want to make your jobs easier, and I appreciate what you guys do for us. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks much.